Hello and welcome. Whether you're new here or you've already tried some of our healing protocols, let's take a moment to explore your options. This way you can feel crystal clear about whether our approach is right for you. If you're watching this, you might be experiencing some of these common health challenges: fatigue, intestinal issues, hormone imbalance, skin breakouts, autoimmune disease, body pains, congestion, food intolerances, depression or anxiety, weight issues, mood swings, headaches, insomnia, thyroid imbalance, or other chronic condition. There's a ton of research to show that the root cause and most common factor in all chronic conditions is inflammation. In fact, Harvard itself concluded that chronic conditions including Alzheimer's, cancer, arthritis, asthma, gout, psoriasis, anemia, Parkinson's, diabetes, and depression among them are indeed triggered by low-grade, long-term inflammation. What starts this inflammatory process could include a number of factors: stress, toxins, diet, medications, infections, and poor organ function all contribute to intestinal permeability, also known as leaky gut. This allows undigested food particles and chemicals to escape through your digestive lining, triggering an immune response. When this happens, immune cells become activated and release substances called mediators. These mediators are a normal and essential part of your immune system defense. However, when triggered frequently, they often cause chronic inflammation, tissue damage, and pain. Mediators also cause smooth muscle contraction. This matters because both your digestive system and blood vessels are made of smooth muscle. These contractions lead to digestive problems, headaches, and vascular issues. Additionally, mediators affect edema, which is fluid retention, mucus production, neurological functions, and your endocrine system, including hormone balance. All of these effects can further increase gut permeability, which was the original problem to begin with. Mediators impact the whole body, contributing to everything from depression to diabetes, Crohn's disease to Hashimoto's, and skin breakouts to cardiovascular disease. So because mediators contribute to so many problems, the first step I recommend is to do a mediator release test. This specialized blood test measures the quantity of mediators released by your immune cells when they come into contact with specific foods and chemicals. Removing the elements which cause the most mediator release typically resolves 50 to 80% of chronic symptoms within just 10 days. If this sounds too good to be true, I completely understand your skepticism. But don't just take my word for it. If you search MP Integrative Health on Google and click on Reviews, you'll find a long list of success stories from clients who have experienced these exact results. These are not exceptions. This is the norm. Now, it's important to note that MRT is not even remotely similar to other tests like Everlywell or Biome that claim to identify food reactivity. Biome, for example, is a stool test that measures the presence of microbes in your gut. While stool tests are helpful in identifying a microbe imbalance, they do not identify food reactivity. In fact, I have found that even when a microbe imbalance does exist, the solution is to improve the immune system and intestinal environment, which we do using MRT. If you do not address food reactions and inflammation properly, gut health will remain poor and microbiome issues will persist even if you take antibiotics or antifungals. So for this reason, MRT is the best solution. Everlywell is another common test which measures IgG. IgG tests are still promoted by many health professionals, but they are not supported by the scientific literature. Here's what the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology conclude. The myth of IgG food panel testing. A test that claims to be able to diagnose food sensitivities and is commonly available is the food IgG test. It is important to understand that this test has never been scientifically proven to be able to accomplish what it reports to do. The presence of IgG is likely a normal response of the immune system to exposure to food. In fact, higher levels of IgG to foods may simply be associated with tolerance to those same foods. And just to prove this, here's a scientific study on PubMed stating that, in conclusion, food-specific IgG does not indicate food allergy or intolerance, but rather a physiological response of the immune system after exposure to food components. Therefore, testing of IgG to foods is considered as irrelevant for the laboratory workup of food allergy or intolerance and should not be performed in case of food-related complaints. So a mediator release test is definitely the way to go, and here's another reason why. I've used ChatGPT to provide a list of negative health effects imposed by food-induced mediator release. What it came up with is that food-induced mediator release can lead to a wide spectrum of negative health effects due to the chemicals released from immune cells, just like we were talking about. So these include the digestive system, like bloating, gas, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, heartburn, acid reflux, irritable bowel, etc. Skin, including hives, eczema, psoriasis, etc. The nervous system, including brain fog, headaches, dizziness, anxiety, sleep disturbances, and so on. The musculoskeletal system, such as joint pain, muscle aches, fibromyalgia, and weakness. The respiratory system, including nasal congestion, cough, asthma, and so on. The cardiovascular system, including heartbeat, palpitations, lightheadedness, and so on. And the system, or whole body, including fatigue, low-grade fever, swelling, fluid retention, and inflammatory flares, just like we talked about. And just to confirm, I went ahead and put in another prompt saying, so a mediator release test would be helpful in identifying the foods and chemicals triggering mediator release and provide a solution for improving health-related symptoms. And ChatGPT came out with exactly a mediator release test can be very helpful because it identifies specific foods, additives, or chemicals that trigger immune cell activation. It reveals hidden food sensitivities or intolerances. It helps pinpoint the root causes of chronic symptoms. It provides a personalized roadmap for dietary and lifestyle adjustments, and it may guide the use of targeted supplements, which we also do in our programs as well. Now, obviously, this does not mean that mediator release and inflammation are the only cause of symptoms. Studies show that stress, genetics, toxins, nutrition, gut health, microbes, your mental-emotional state, and even subconscious patterns all play an important role. It is the net effect of these contributing factors that really determine your overall health. This is why I've created a range of programs, so you can choose what's best for you. My recommendation will always be to include MRT in any healing protocol, but if budget is limited or you'd prefer a different type of healing method, I'm confident that we have an option that will meet your needs. To make sure we recommend the best possible solution tailored to your unique situation and budget, please take a moment to complete a brief application by clicking on the button below. We know healing can be complex, but you don't have to do it alone. We're here to guide you every step of the way.